Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count after 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man. Winston Auto Club.
Good evening, racing fans. The white-knuckled streets of the Windy City. The green flag will drop in just a few minutes on a race that could rewrite the Overtake iRacing League history books. Who will emerge victorious from this urban jungle? Will Alex Penn maintain his lead, or will a new champion rise from the asphalt? Strap yourselves in, folks, because we're about to witness a battle for the ages. This is round 3, race 15 of the Overtake iRacing League playoffs. And the tension is growing thicker than a Chicago deep dish. Good evening, folks. My name is Christian Hill, and alongside me in about 15 to 10 minutes is Alex Gagnon, as he's doing another show, and he'll be here shortly. In the meantime, you have the pleasure of getting us started, or I have the pleasure, not you, of getting us started here. But yeah, bear with me, as this is not my not my normal gig here. Is producing and talking, I should say. So while we're here, I guess we can, as I just mentioned, we can take a look at the points here with Alex Penn in the lead. Alex Penn leading with a 21:05, 2,105 points. That's going to be 8 points over Daniel Cunningham. It is getting closer, as Alex Penn didn't do too great in the last race last week there, but that gap getting ever so close. But Andy Kurtz tied with Daniel Cunningham there in third, both with 2,097 points. But Tony Iverson, don't count him out. He is just there behind, 1 point behind Andy Kurtz and Daniel Cunningham. And then you got a pretty big gap between Tony and Jim Ott there with that 20-point difference. And Bobby Hall Jr. and Michael Kostick only, again, 1 point below those two. But Michael Kostick with 3 wins, the most wins out of all of our playoff standing drivers here. But that's not really doing him too much help, though he has not made every race there. So a really, really powerful driver, just unable to make all of the races here to kind of keep up with those points. Then we got Travis Bieber in 8th. Then we got Matt Grenier in 9th, and Wes Wiegand in 10th with 2,074 points. Our playoff drivers go all the way up to 16th with Brett Bieber, Drew Pohl, Justin Ray, Craig Schroeder, Cody Anderson, and Blake Hensley, who is 77 points behind Alex Penn. Definitely can make up some points there going into our here tonight. But Alex Penn a road course warrior, a champion of our road courses here. And actually, I think I was a little bit wrong. I think we have Alex here. Alex here now. Let's see if I can bring him on in. Alex, you here?
You betcha. Just in time for a little bit of street course racing here tonight in Chicago.
Oh, most definitely. You know what, Alex? I think I'll join you for the rest of the night. It is street coursing, and I like street racing, and I love me some street racing. Well, you know, I'll give you the reins for the rest of the intro here, and we can move on. We just finished up points. I guess we can move into track guy here.
You betcha. So, with that being the case, this is one of the most unique circuits that you can drive a stock car on. A little less than 2.25 miles here, and no less than about 4 or 5, maybe 6, 90-degree turns. Everything is very angular here at the Chicago street course. You can see on the track map, hard left-hander in the 1 and the 2. Kind of wheel your way around toward that backstretch off of turn 5. Hard left in the 6. That is going to give some drivers some fits tonight if they drive this course anything like Noah Gragson. And then 7 through 11, that big arch around the fountain, coming to a 90-degree turn into turn 11, as well as turn 12. Back down the start-finish line. Only 30 laps here tonight, but it is going to be a feisty one, if I do say so myself. This is not an easy course to drive in these Xfinity cars.
No, this isn't even an easy course to drive just in general. Street courses in general are difficult courses to drive as you're driving on the street. And as we all know, I mean, driving our road cars on the street, it's not that hard. But when you're pushing 120, 130, you're getting up there in speed. All those little tiny bumps, and they affect how your tires interacting with the ground, and you're not getting that same traction as you would on a normal, racing course. So it definitely makes it difficult, especially under braking.
Yeah, and that's what makes these 90-degree turns so difficult. If you were fully connected to the ground, that would be one thing, but there is no guarantee that you're gonna be.
Right, yeah, I mean, we just kind of, IMSA just finished up at Long Beach, and I can tell you I did quite a few laps there, and it was very difficult under braking. You kind of had to pick your braking point just a little bit earlier than you might have wanted to, just to be able to make it through the braking zone and not end up in a wall, excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the last thing you want is to end up in a wall anywhere, but especially at the Chicago street course where there's so many possibilities of just a direct head-on collision. So that's certainly going to be something that the drivers keep an eye on here tonight. 30 laps, stage break at lap 10. So not a huge amount of time to get your bearings straight before what could be your only pit stop of the night.
Yeah, and speaking of pit stops, here's our race analysis. We do have 30 laps, and our pit speed road is 40 miles an hour. They do have 4 tire sets available with an infinite amount of green, white checkers, although I don't believe we're going to need many of them, as this doesn't really seem, road courses, actually, we don't even have green, white checkers. I mean, I guess we could, but we're not really throwing yellows. This isn't a yellow-oriented track, so... But yeah, stage lap is on 10 with the iRacing setup.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people, not a huge fan of the iRacing fix setup here, but that's also just because it's not easy to drive no matter what setup you've got. The iRacing one, though, especially a bit of a challenge, but suppose I should ask you here, producer Christian, or also co-commentator Christian, I suppose I should call you here tonight, actually. Do we have our grid ready to go?
We do. In fact, that is what I am pulling up now. Here we go.
Alrighty. Surprising absolutely nobody. The 30 of Alex Penn puts it on pole. What is a surprise, though, by nearly a second over the next closest car, Alex Penn, a 129.427. Lightning quick lap from the 30. Michael Kostick going to start to his outside, running a 130.4. Lucas Lyons in the 48. He'll roll off third tonight alongside the 94 of Bobby Hall Jr. Back in row 3, the 08 of Daniel Cunningham and the 38 of Justin Ray. Drew Prohl rolls off 7th in the number 80 machine. He's going to have Mark Morton to his outside in the 2. And in row 5, it's the 88 of Wes Wiegand and the 15 of Matt Grenier.
Then we got Craig Schroeder starting in 11th with number 56, alongside Blake Hensley in the 31 in P12. We got Cody Anderson in P13, starting next to Tom Hall in the 93 of P14. And that will actually round out our field tonight. Not a whole lot of cars tonight. I understand this is a newer street course as well for iRacing, as well as it is difficult, as we've kind of explained earlier. It's a very difficult street course. I haven't had the chance to drive this yet, but based on watching some NASCAR races and hearing other drivers talk about this, is a very difficult track.
Yeah, I have the track. I have not done a proper race on it, but I've done some hosted sessions on it. I have not been a great road course racer to begin with, but this track especially is a challenge. And also, one of the things that you had on the graphic that we didn't allude to a ton when we were talking about it, but is worth noting, there is a pretty big elevation change here at Chicago. There's nearly a 500-foot change in elevation between the highest and lowest point of this track, or sorry, it's about 500 feet above the sea level. You can see the lake off to the side. But there's still some elevation changes, especially going down Grand Street here. So it's going to be quite the adventure, I think, for these cars here tonight. And with only 14 cars, you can't imagine too many people are going to get bottled up. So I think you'll really see the fastest cars shine here tonight. Obviously, all eyes turn to the 30 of Alex Penn. He has won not one, but both of the road course races we've had this season. He took his first one back at Mid-Ohio in the 4th week of the season. And then since then, he also won the race at Watkins Glen in pretty dominating fashion. So he has been one to watch here on these road courses. Can he go 3 for 3 here tonight, tacking on a street course victory and punching his ticket to the second round of the playoffs? The odds say possibly, but you never know what's going to happen until you actually get rolling.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Penn, not with the most wins. Michael Kostick just behind him in that 8 car. Still the one with the most wins. I believe Michael Kostick has a whole 8 wins. Wow. No, he has 3 wins. He is in the number 8.
That he does, yes.
And here's that elevation change you were talking about earlier. This massive dip down this straight.
So that front row, Gabe got a combined 5 wins this season. And then you can also take a look at Lucas Lyons, who stole a victory at Pocono from some of these playoff drivers 2 weeks ago. So a lot of talent on this opening group, but it's all going to get decided in just a minute here. They are making their way. This is turn 9 by the fountain in the turn 10. And these are the final 2 corners, and arguably this is one of the toughest corners on the track. It's so narrow through here. You almost can't be side by side through it. And then they make their way back up over the hurdle again, if you will. Going into turn 12 as the pace car getting ready to peel off, and we'll be ready to go for 30 laps of street course racing from Chicago. They've hit the zone, green flag in the air, and the final race of the opening round of the playoffs is underway here in the OiL Xfinity Series. Looks like the 15's already got some pretty significant damage to the front end. Matt Grenier's got the whole front end of that car completely separated. Not sure what's happened to him. He's continuing the run in the 9th position there, but something has happened to the 15 that caused some pretty significant damage. As we make our way through the middle part of this opening lap, Grenier scored back in 9th. Up front, Alex Penn taking control of this race from the pole. He's already half a second clear of Michael Kostick.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to see if we can get a look at Matt Grenier's start of the race here. See if maybe he got loose on the start or something. Let's see if I can, there's no indicator of issue with it,
Plot twist, that's just how they set up the car this evening.
so. They thought no front bumper might be faster. It might be cooler actually, but faster, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, they gotta keep the engine temps down as we conclude the opening lap of this race. Alex Penn clear of Michael Kosick by a second ahead of Lucas Lyons and Bobby Hall. The front 5-6 cars do not change. Big mover so far though, the 31 of Blake Hensley already up to 7th. We know he's got a bit of an acumen here on these road courses. We saw him run really well back at Mid-Ohio, and Watkins Glen finished 4th in both of those races. So he needs a win here tonight, most likely, to move on to the next round of the OiL Xfinity playoffs. But every point he can get his hands on is going to be a big help in that quest to move on to the round of 12, of which he's already picked up a handful of spots.
Let's go ahead and take a quick. That's not it. Take a quick look at start.
The 15's already missing the front bumper from the start.
Very weird, very strange. I wonder if on the pace lap he ended up getting into an incident. That did not doesn't tell me that. Interesting. Yeah, so I'm guessing on the pace lap there he had an incident with someone or a wall, not being able to brake in time.
Either way, that's a really tough start to this race for the 15 of Grenier. As you see 42 of Cody Anderson scrape that wall a little bit, but use it to minimize the gap he had to go through that corner. Get around the 15. The 2 of Mark Morton's going to clear as well. Grenier falls back to the 11th position. That damage definitely noticeable here in the early going. He is starting to lose some time to these guys getting settled in as the tires are getting up to racing temperatures here on lap 3. Cody Anderson, Mark Morton right now 9th and 10th. They're both up a couple of positions, and Anderson trying to get some separation from that 2 before it becomes a battle of his own for 9th.
I had the pleasure of racing with Cody Anderson a couple days ago on a super speedway there with Talladega, alongside Vspeed's one of Vspeed's owners there, Bradley Cooper, and we ended up going 1, 2, 3. Cody ended up helping me to the front, and then Bradley Cooper pushed me to the win. So it was a pretty awesome race, seeing 1, 2, 3 with Vspeed kind of guys up there, and it was really fun. Awesome.
Whoa,
really
trouble I
talented
think
driver.
for the 15.
15.
I think the 15, we saw the 2 hit the wall. I saw a lot of smoke I thought get kicked up from the 15. I might be wrong, but I think he may have hit the wall there in 6. Or maybe it was the 2 of Mark Morton who also hit the wall, but I think there was some more issues with Grenier. The handling of that car just does not seem right at the moment, as another car will go on by, and the 80 of Drew Prohl may be already out of this one as well. Heavy damage to that car.
That looks like a miss of a braking point. You slam the right or left front into a wall. I guess it'd be the left front, and there your day's done. The front left is just absolutely destroyed.
Meanwhile, a little farther up in the field, Blake Hensley has reeled in Justin Ray. That's the battle for 6th. The 38 qualified there. The 31 has had to work his way through the field, looking at another position here as he is on the back bumper of the 38 as they go through turns 4 and 5 and onto the backstretch. Making their way down this long straightaway. This, going into turn 6, is a prime opportunity to try and outbrake somebody. Will the 31 try it, though, is the question. Not this time around. 38, though, really wide off the corner. Here comes Hensley. He's going to try and make it work on the outside in turn 7. Had a nose to the corner just a second, but Ray able to shut the door as they go around the fountain turn. Big slide, though, for Ray. Oh, boy. Hensley leaning on him as they go through 9 and 10. If I'm Justin Ray, I'm not too thrilled about that, but I think if I'm Blake Hensley, I'm looking at the 08 get further and further away in the distance and knowing that you could track him down if you can just clear the 38 here. Halfway through the opening stage here at the Chicago Street Course. Good battle going on for 6th. Alex Penn up front. He is 3 seconds clear of Michael Kostick. About another 1.5 seconds back to Lucas Lyons. Then a huge jump back to Bobby Hall. And this 4-car battle all nose to tail for 4th through 7th. Ray, a big slide. He may have got a little bit of contact there with Hensley. Hensley going to roll past the 38 of Ray there as they go down into turns 3 and 4. 31 now up in the P6, and he has his eyes set of breaking into the top 5 here as he tries to track down Daniel Cunningham.
Matt Grenier did bring it into the pits on lap 3, as well as actually Lucas Lyons just brought it into the pits. Oh, Lucas Lyons had a
Whoa!
moment. We're gonna have to take a look
Heavy
at that.
damage there for the 48 of Lucas Lyons. He was running 3rd at the time. He was in good shape, making his way toward turn 6. Clips the outside wall. Car gets locked into it and just devastated into the tire barrier. My goodness. Just cut it a little too fine. Kind of got caught on that right outside wall as he tried to turn in and just could not get the car off the wall. Heavy impact into the tire barrier. The front end goes absolutely ballistic out in front of him. And that's going to cost him a ton of positions. Now a lap down and going to probably lose a couple more here before it's all said and done. So that's going to shake up that top 5 a little bit. Penn and Kostick still your lead group. And Mark Morton loops it going around, I believe that's turn 1. So luckily for him and Wes Wiegand, no one else collected, but the two going to lose a lot of time there. The Chicago Street Course proving to be difficult in the early going here. So as they run, Alex Penn now leads Michael Kostick, Bobby Hall, Blake Hensley, who's gotten around the 08, and then Daniel Cunningham in 5th. As you see Tom Hall there get around the 56 of Schroeder. The 93 now into the top 10. As they make their way through 4 and 5. And now jumping up ahead here, Daniel Cunningham started 5th, currently 5th, although the cars in front and behind him have changed a little bit over the course of the opening 6 laps here. Now staring at the back bumper of the 31 of Hensley, who's making really good time here tonight. He's on the back bumper of Bobby Hall for 3rd. The 31 of Hensley really dialed in here in the opening going. He is picking off cars left and right. Yeah, started back in 12th, all the way up to 4th. He got 5 of those positions that he gained on the opening lap, and has picked up a couple more basically each step of the way here as he continues to get larger in the mirror of the 94 for 3rd. That battle for the final step of the podium getting a little intense there between the 94 and the 31. As they make their way through 4 and 5, there is no distance between them. Will he try to make his move into turn 6? We saw Lucas Lyons attempt that a few laps ago. It ended horrendously. Will odds be different here, or will they stay tucked in with each other?
Yeah, battle for a podium here for P3. Bobby Hall Jr. and Blake Hensley. They're gonna go side by side? Is Blake Hensley's gonna send it on Bobby Hall Jr.? No, he's gonna give him space. And he said, "Not this time. I'll get you by later."
He really thought about it, though. He just probably thought better of it, knowing that if he stuck his nose in there, there was nothing the 94 was going to be able to do other than to take it clean off him. So as they run, Hall still just ahead of Hensley for 3rd. This battle, 16 seconds behind the leader, 12 seconds back behind 2nd place. So this is very much a battle.
Whoa.
Oh, the 31 looped it going into turn 12.
Oh,
the 08 can't get through. The 38 going to get past both of them. Cody Anderson clear as well. The 31 Does not look like he's got terminal damage, but certainly a bit of damage to the 31. There might be some handling issues on that car that had been driving so well to this point. You could see how much time he was making up to those ahead of him, and then disaster strikes as he gets a little over anxious trying to get around the 94 on the front straightaway. Yeah, the 08, nowhere to go. The 38 slips on by, and then the 42 maybe adds a little bit of insult to injury there. The 31 was trying to get going, but didn't want to take out Anderson.
Yeah, he just loses it trying to go in. I guess too far on the brakes. Gets hit by the 08, and then the 42 is able to just sneak right on by.
The big winner out of all of that was the 38 of Justin Ray. He moves all the way up to 4th now. He got past Cunningham when Cunningham got checked up, making contact with Hensley. So that is the fun of the Chicago Street Course, is while we don't have a ton of cars on track here, and cars are starting to get spread out a little bit, there is always danger lurking around every corner here. And we've seen some really talented road course racers already find themselves having some issues tonight between guys like the 48 Alliance, like the 31 of Hensley. I mean, there has been some challenging situations for these guys out on track right now.
Yeah, we already have 4 out of the count. Mark Morton, Lucas Lyons, Matt Grenier, and Drew Cole.
Yeah, so only 10 cars still on the lead lap here as we make our way to the stage break. Mark Morton, if he does get back on track, would get one of those laps back, but 3 laps down, you're probably going to be stuck there, especially on a street course where iRacing not very keen on throwing the yellow at any point. This is on board with the 42 of Cody Anderson, who's tracking the back bumper of Daniel Cunningham. He's up 7 positions from where he started. Gonna see if he can make a move on Cunningham here going toward turn 6. It's been a bit of a challenging spot for our drivers here tonight. Closes up big time to the 08. Is he gonna be able to get it turned around? Yes, he will, but loses a lot of time on corner exit, and Cunningham will reopen the gap.
Yeah, you gotta be really consistent, but really carefully consistent with this track. As we've seen with a couple other drivers, it is really easy just to lock yourself up, get maybe a little bit of a miss bump, going into one of these turns and just send it into a wall. So yeah, you got to be careful. You don't want your tires to go up smokier than a Chicago style hot dog. That was interesting.
Yeah, those they certainly are. And you can also see from this onboard shot just how much these cars are shaking around on this course. Not even on the straightaways. I mean, you can feel the car rocking as it hits the bumps on these Chicago streets. So it's part of the reason why everyone's having a tough time getting around this track. But once Craig Schroeder hits the line, we will hit the stage break here. It is lap 10. They just need the top 10 cars to hit the line so they can award stage points. And it looks like you might have the 31 get around the 42 of Anderson here. He'll sneak on by. This field's so spread out. I'm curious to see if the league handles it as whenever you hit the line or wherever you're running when the caution flies.
Now, I'm not exactly as the caution does fly.
There it is. So Craig Schroeder has come across the start-finish line. Top 10 finishers have been across the stripe, which means stage 1 has come to a close. Alex Penn wins the stage by about 4 seconds over Michael Kostick, and then it's about 16 Chicago blocks back to Bobby Hall in 3rd there and Justin Ray. I mean, those 2 guys just pulled away from the field. There's nearly a minute of separation over 10 laps between 1st and 10th. So Michael Kostick's having a really good run tonight, but you'd be easy to miss it with just how dominant the 30 of Alex Penn has been here tonight. I mean, neither one has set a foot wrong, but the 30 just that much quicker through the corners.
Yeah, he just knows when to put the power down and when to brake. I mean, everything he's been doing so far has been nearly perfect. He's just an absolute monster at road courses, and it shows. I mean, he won at Watkins Glen. He's won at what was our first road course? Mid-Ohio.
Alex Penn, I do believe, would have won the stage at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
He won that race. He also won the Watkins Glen race. I believe he won the stage there. When it comes to road courses, that 30 has not been touched, which gives him not only good odds for tonight, but if he is able to extend his playoff run into the final 8, the Roval is the second race of those 3. So there is a pretty clear path. I think the 30 could make it all the way to the championship race in Phoenix if he gets through a win tonight, survives the round 2 schedule of Kansas, Darlington, and Texas, and can make it to the Roval the week before the penultimate race of the season.
My least favorite road course in these kind of cars is just it is a brutal track with a real course, at least wise. I think street courses are fun. I think they're really, really tight tolerances. You have to be kind of really, what's the word I'm looking for? Just safe, but also you have to be quick with it. So there's a lot on the line with street courses, but the Roval, it's just a brutal track. And it's a very difficult one to drive in these cars. It's really fun in a Miata, but anything with a lot of horsepower. These have 650 horsepower, 4-speed manual, no driver assists. These are wild cars to drive, especially on a street course.
Absolutely. So they're making their way down past turn 11 here toward turn 12. This would be the time to come down pit road, I believe, if you need tires and fuel to make it to the end of this race. And the 30 going to dive in toward pit lane. So was the 8 of Michael Kostick. Here comes the field to get service. For a few cars, just some tires and some fuel. And for a few cars, an opportunity to get a little bit more damage and maintenance done on their car. A little bit of damage buff. Into their stalls they go. Looks like the top cars getting into their boxes pretty cleanly. The 30 able to get the left sides down before Kostick with this front stretch facing the other direction. It's the left sides that go up first, and Penn and Kostick will roll away in that order. Bobby Hall, and then Justin Ray, Blake Hensley, Daniel Cunningham, and Cody Anderson, Wes Wiegand, the top 8 cars off of pit road. So no real changes in that top group, at least through the top 6 or 7 cars. Hensley actually getting around Cunningham is the one, I believe. It's been a challenging one out there, Christian. These guys, even some of the better drivers in the series, I mean, you look at the 4 guys who are currently out of the race. 3 of them are OiL Xfinity playoff drivers, and these are guys who have had consistent results all season. And the Chicago Street Course proven to be a tough beast to tame, even though I'm pretty sure that's definitely someone else's tagline track-wise, but nonetheless, it's been a challenge.
Yeah, Drew Prohl down in 14th for this. He was the first one out. He's going to be 12th in the playoff standings with Matt Grenier also he's now in 11th. He is, 9th in the playoff standings. So he had quite a bit to fight for. He was only 30 points behind Alex Penn coming into this race. So that's going to be a pretty hard loss on him. I think he's the highest up there in terms of points of the drivers out currently.
That is true. I thought, to be honest, I gaslit myself into thinking Lucas Lyons was a part of the playoffs as well with his win at Pocono a couple weeks ago. Yes. But I forgot that the reason that was a big deal is because he was a non-playoff driver who won Pocono, which is what made it such a big deal.
Right, and I did the exact same thing until I checked the points, and I was like, oh, right, Lucas Lyons is not in the playoffs.
Well, what's funny is that with the way this opening round has gone, tonight could be the first night of these 3 first-round races where a playoff driver actually wins the race. Because not only did Lucas Lyons win at Pocono a few weeks ago, last week Talladega, in a miraculous last-lap turn of events, was won by Dustin Reinstedel, who also was not a member of the OiL Xfinity playoffs. So Alex Penn, a chance to do a little bit of history here tonight. And be a playoff driver to win a playoff race, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, Lucas Lyons and Dustin Reinstedel, they're leading the non-playoff drivers points there with their 432 and 410 over Thomas Hall, 19th with 327. So a pretty large gap between them, almost 100 points between Thomas Hall and Lucas Lyons. But yeah, those two had won the first 2 races. So round 3, hopefully Alex Penn will win. But I believe most of these drivers still left on the race here are all. I think all of these drivers are playoff drivers.
Everyone who is still on track sans the 93 of Tom Hall, all playoff drivers here as they roll. Tom Hall looking to get a few extra points here tonight. He's up to 9th. He's having not too bad of a run. So we'll go a quick rundown of the field as they go here, getting ready for the restart, what would expect to be the last restart of the night, as iRacing does not tend to run full course yellows at these road courses. Nearly a bit of contact, actually, a little deeper in the field. Tight moment there with Tom Hall and Wes Wiegand. But the field as they run, the 30 of Alex Penn, your leader, has led each lap so far here tonight. Michael Kostick has been doing his best to put some pressure on the 30. He's been able to keep relative pace with him compared to anyone else in the field, but still was lagging back a few seconds in that opening stage. Bobby Hall running 3rd, Justin Ray 4th. Blake Hensley, his up and down night has currently put him in 5th place on the inside of Daniel Cunningham. Cody Anderson and Tom Hall 7th and 8th. And then Wes Wiegand and Craig Schroeder 9th and 10th. And rejoining the pack here to get a few extra laps in and move up a spot from 12th to 11th. Matt Grenier back on track here in the 15. Honestly, I like this move by Grenier a lot. You know, opportunity. If someone wrecks out, get a few more positions potentially.
Yeah, he's only 6 laps down. I say only 6, but still only 6 laps down. If someone wrecks out first lap after the caution here, they don't rejoin the race. That's another position. That's some more points for him.
And either way, an opportunity to get a little more reps in here at the Chicago Street Course after he had the start with that front end damage that he, I'm assuming, got from the pace lap. We weren't able to verify that, but it was there at the drop of the green flag, so that's just my guess of what happened. Pace car gonna peel off down pit road. Barney the flagman's got that green flag in the air, and they're gonna hit the restart zone for the second and likely final time tonight. And racing in the turn 1 is Michael Kostick and Alex Penn. Gonna try and drive it in deep here to 2. Side by side behind. Nearly hitting the wall there was Blake Hensley. Keeping the 31 nice and clean though. He'll get around the 38 of Justin Ray. And move himself into the 4th position. Alex Penn gets some separation from Michael Kostick. And the 30 may already be on his way to checking out here on the back half of this race. Penn, Kostick, Hall, and Hensley, your top 4. Oh, trouble there for the 8. He gets bottled up in turn 6, checks up the 94. Here comes Blake Hensley on the outside trying to make something happen for second. More side-by-side contact with the wall. Hensley able to clear the 8 of Kostick. They tried going side-by-side in 7. There was not a lot of room to do so. Both of them got a bit of contact. Hensley with Kostick, Kostick with the inside wall. The 8 will fall back to 3rd. Hensley now up into P2 for the first time tonight. Bobby Hall relegated to 4th. Oh, see, I'll humbly request that we can get a replay of that one in a second here once the field stratifies out a little bit, because I would love to take another look to see what happened there. Seemed like a lot of cars bouncing off of everything in 6 and 7.
Yeah, it might. Let me see if I could find that. Might be a little difficult. This track hasn't been quite kind in terms of helping me out.
Well, while you have maybe a quick second to look for it, we'll stay on board here. This battle, Daniel Cunningham closing in to the back bumper of Justin Ray for 5th. Ray's opening up that gap to about 4 car lengths here. Good run down that backstretch. Question is, will he be able to maintain it?
Oh,
Oh, contact there for Bobby Hall. The 94 hard into the outside wall in 6. Everyone going to go on by. That's another one we'll have to see if we can find a replay of. Turn 6 proven to be a devil of a corner here tonight. It's already gotten Lucas Lyons to Bobby Hall, and it also got Michael Kostick briefly there. It's been a challenging corner to navigate. We're seeing it continue here as the 94 now all the way down the 9th. He's having more issues. Here comes Matt Grenier to the inside. The 94 way off the pace right now.
a roll bar. See what a roll bar. Let's see what the it's just driving it really slow at the moment.
Just trying to nurse it back to pit road potentially. Does not seem like it's handling all that well. The 94 are going to duck down pit lane. Tough break there for Bobby Hall. He had a good run going. He was inside the top 5 all evening. And now, just as we cross to the halfway point of this race, he's going to fall back deeper into the field. Here's a replay of what happened before this with Hensley and Kostick back in turn 7. Both of them clipping the outside wall. Hensley just able to escape ahead of the 8. And here's what happened to Michael Kostick going into turn 6. This is what started that whole situation. Kostick trying to get all the way out to that outside wall. Abe just clips it a little bit, just like Lyons did. And he ends up clipping the wall on the exit of 6, checks up the 94. Hensley rolls on by, and then it creates this battle in the 7, where neither of them had the room to make this work. Can't imagine either of them were particularly thrilled with each other after that one.
And then let's take a quick look back at what happened there with Bobby Hall as well.
This is about a lap or 2 later. The 94 making their way down the backstretch toward turn 6. This has been a challenging corner for our drivers here tonight. And we were on the overhead shot looking for the replay when this happened live. You can see it in the bottom of the screen. We'll go on board with the 94 here, who just does not get this car slowed down in time, in heavy contact with the tire barrier. I think he might have broke a toe link too. That car keeps wanting to drift right. So Bobby Hall back on track here, scored 1 lap down. Tom Hall still on the lead lap, but a minute and a half behind, so I think the 93 also had some issues. Alex Penn only leads by, his lead came down a good bit there to Hensley. Hensley within 3 seconds. It's about as close as anyone's been under green flag conditions here tonight. Hensley needing every point he can get. A win would lock him into the next round, but he came into tonight 16th of the 16 playoff drivers in points. You see the 93 go down pit road here. That gap has come down a lot. 2 seconds now, the difference between Penn and Hensley. Kostick also hot on the heels of the 31. I think the 30 also may have caught a little bit of the wall there for a second.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be scraping and sliding on the walls. I mean, as long as you don't just send it into the wall, right? You know, as long as you're not making extreme hard contact, a little scraping, a little scrubbing, it's not gonna ruin your too much of your car. If you do a little too much, maybe at the front or the rear, you might end up with some aero damage here and there. But I don't think these cars are particularly using too much aero.
I think Blake Hensley may have picked up a traffic cone. I might be wrong, but I could have swore I saw something orange earlier on in that run. I don't know if he's got it now, but I also could have just been from that distance. It looked like it, but he actually just has a bit of damage. It's a big slide for the 31 there. Here comes Michael Kostick within a car length as they make their way to turn 7. A corner the two of them are familiar with each other all too well as they now go around the fountain. Hensley in the 31, Kostick in the 8. One of these guys qualified on the front row, and is that third place spot the lowest that they've run all day. The other one, back in 12th, has rallied their way up now 10 spots in the second place, trying to find that extra little bit of momentum to try and make a battle for the lead, but right now having a really, really solid run here tonight.
With the way these two cars have been banging doors, I wouldn't be shocked if it was possible that some of the paint of the 8 had rubbed off onto the 31, and that's where you thought it was a traffic cone, but unfortunately that is not that's not possible just yet. I think that'd be a cool addition, but yeah, the way they've been banging doors, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, my eyes might have just been playing tricks on me here tonight, which would be a bummer, no doubt about that. But either way, still a good run going for the 31, just ahead of Michael Kostick. So as they run here, about 12 laps to go, 11 and a half at this point on the track. Alex Penn leading only 8 cars who are still on the lead lap here. Blake Hensley, Michael Kostick, Justin Ray, Daniel Cunningham, Cody Anderson, Wes Wiegand, and Craig Schroeder. Those cars who, by either passing on track or just by attrition, are now scored in your top 8. Bobby Hall, Tom Hall, Matt Grenier, Mark Morton, Lucas Lyons, Drew Prohl, all scored off the lead lap here to varying degrees.
Yeah, Blake Hensley, you watch his steering wheel, he's really cranking that wheel right now. Every time he's coming out of the, you can even listen, every time he comes out of those corners, he's just slamming that throttle down. He's trying to put as much power down out of the corners as he possibly can. That's why you're seeing him kind of wiggle around as he is right now, kind of cranking that steering wheel, trying to keep the car under control, trying to get away from Michael Kostick, but also be able to catch up to Alex Penn.
You know, this is going to be a strange analogy, but just hold on and bear with me for a second here. You know, you see the orange stripe at the top of the wheel, letting you know you're centered. You see how much movement that thing's got? My first thought, for some reason, was the idea of that the Planet Earth documentary of that lizard who's trying to run through the snake pit and has to jump everywhere as the snakes are trying to get him. It just feels like that thing hasn't stayed in a consistent spot the entire lap. It's constantly bouncing around, especially in the corners. It is all over the place to try and keep the hammer down while also keeping that car stable. I mean, just look how much that thing shimmies coming out of the corner.
Yeah, he's really got to just kind of counter steer correct, just constantly, especially these really tight corners like this, these last 2 corners. I mean, you're putting in so much steering effort just to be able to keep this car straight, let alone trying to make some of these corners here like we are in the fountain section. It's absolutely incredible what these guys are doing tonight.
Yeah, it's been a really good run, and, you know, Blake Hensley still has that orange and black number 8 not too far behind him here, and Michael Kostick. The two of them have lost the back bumper of Penn a bit. They had gotten to within 2 seconds of the 30. That gap now back out to 3.8 seconds as Alex Penn now makes it 10 laps to go from Chicago. Hasn't put a foot wrong yet, has the 30. He has been cruising. And looking at the timing tower, I think the 93 and the 94 might both be off the track, which means potentially a couple more positions of opportunity for the 15 of Matt Grenier, as you see the 31 tap the wall out of 2.
94 is off track. However, the 93 is still on track with 3 laps down. But no, yeah, the 94 is off track. The 15 is on track, so the Matt Grenier is only 2 laps away from catching Bobby Hall Jr., so maybe getting that final 10th position as Blake Hensley really
Boy, the
puts the power
31 whipping it out of these corners. It is, I would say it's helping him get a good run down the straightaways, but he hasn't really pulled away from the 8 at all because he's been so loose. As you see him slide again, drifts it through turn 6. You know, this might be the streets of Chicago. You could fool me and say it's the streets of Tokyo, a little Tokyo drift action, the way the 31's been whipping the back end around here tonight. He continues to roll second here just ahead of Michael Kostick, and Kostick has been a lot more stable. And he's just going to be kind of minding his distance. I wonder if he's letting the 31 try and chew up his stuff here and then going to try and strike in the closing couple laps.
Yeah, if I'm Michael Kostick, I think it's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to drive it smooth, is because I'm seeing Blake Hensley, the guy in front of me. I'm seeing him, rip it. I'm seeing him just try to put as much power down as he possibly can, and he is. Yeah, he's burning up those tires. So I'm gonna stay smooth. I'm gonna stay calm and collected until those last few laps where I'm gonna start to put the power down. I'll have more grip than him, and I'll probably be able to pass him.
You see the 31 bouncing off of both sides of the wall there between 1 and 2. Again, the 31 just turning into a pinball out here in Chicago at Grant Park. I mean, he has clipped, I think, just about every wall you can here. Not heavy damage, but, he just continues to leave red, white, and blue paint all over this racetrack as the 8 of Costa continues to mind his distance about 7/10 behind. He has just been letting this happen as the 31, despite the amount of times he's clipped the wall, continues to be running with a really high head of steam right now. Nice clean run through 6. The 31 had that time around. He is rolling pretty good. We got a good battle, I think, going on just behind them, though, as well, with the 08 of Cunningham and the 42 of Cody Anderson.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out. I was going to say, although this battle on the painting of the walls is going great, we do have this battle between Cody Anderson. He was down, Cody was down to 2/10 of a second on Daniel for a while there, but then I guess lost to come out on one of the corners, ended up gaining that gap, but he's gaining it back pretty quickly on that Sunny D machine.
He's right there on the back bumper here as they make their way into turn 11. A lot of pressure on right now for the 08 as they make their way into turn 12. Craig Schroeder brings it down pit road.
Apologize, it's not a Sunny D machine. I don't know why. It kind of looked like it from afar. I think it's a Ghost machine.
That it is. Although I was fully prepared to roll with it. Yeah, no. Ghost is the sponsor of that 08 car there. So Daniel Cunningham, he's kind of watched a lot of things happen around him tonight, but he continues to soldier on there in P5. Cody Anderson has worked his way up in the 6th. I think he started back in 13th. So a good run for the 42 tonight to continue to slowly but steadily get yourself in position for a good points night. Trying to break into the top 5 if he can get around the 08 here. Cody Anderson, he's had a pretty decent season, but has not had a top 5 yet. Tonight could be the night. His best finish, 6th, at Watkins Glen and at Mid-Ohio. So could 3 be a trend here for the 42, or could the first top 5 of the season come at the 3rd road course of the year?
I was just thinking about possible sponsors, and I was like, oh yeah, Ghost could partner up with Sunny D. It's a great combo. And I was thinking about last week, and then how someone said they were sponsored by Toblerone, and I'm trying to remember exactly who that was. I think that was our P3 finisher.
Toblerone, that is a snack of all time, let me tell you. It's a big slide for the 08. Could open the door here for Anderson. Coming down toward turn 12, the 42. Going to dive it in, take that spot away. New car running in P5. There's the 42 of Cody Anderson, looking for his first top 5 of the season with 6 laps to go. He's looking to drive away here. Schroeder now a lap down. The attrition continues. Only half the field on the lead lap. I believe the 94 has gotten back on track as well because he has not lost any time to Matt Grenier. So, good battle still here, but we can jump back up to that 2nd place battle, Hensley and Kostick. Pressure still on from the 8. He's got that gap down to about 4/10 of a second. Trying to turn up that wick, try and add a little bit of heat to the back bumper of the 31.
I think it was Drew Kroll. Whoa!
Oh, big slide for the 31. He was able to save it, but not before he'll lose out to the 8 of Michael Kostick. So Michael Kostick now in 2nd place once again here tonight. Hensley going to try and have to work his way back up there in the final 5 laps. Sorry, co-commentator Christian, what were you saying there about the 80 of Drew Prohl?
Right. Well, firstly, I think you called it with Blake Hensley. I think he just, absolutely tore up his tires. So I think he's really sliding around. We were seeing him, and he was hitting walls, as he still is now. Painting the walls red, white, and blue as he continues. Oh,
it almost feels like a Three Stooges skit. Like when they if they have freshly painted a wall and then keep bouncing off of it, and they're doing all their slapstick sort of stuff. Because it feels like anytime we talk about it, we see it happen 2 or 3 more times here from the 31.
Yeah, he's listen. I'm all for patriotism, but I don't know if this is the way to paint the walls red, white, and blue. But yeah, as he tore up his tires, I think that's really, as you can see, the gap is just massive now. I mean, he's a second and a half off of Michael Kostick. Yeah, I think he just tore up his tires. But Drew Prohl was the one who I believe had the sponsorship of Toblerone. Unfortunately, Drew Prohl and Toblerone, they're finishing 14th tonight.
Yeah, he is off track here, 23 laps down. Also off track, the 48 of Lucas Lyons, the 2 of Mark Morton. They are all a lap down. Then we have several cars who are still in the hunt, but not on the lead lap between Craig Schroeder, Bobby and Tom Hall, and Matt Grenier. So, coming to the line here for Alex Penn, it's going to be 5 laps to go from Chicago. The 30. 6.5 seconds clear of Michael Kostick. This has been a dominating effort tonight from Alex Penn.
Really has. I mean, he's just done an exceptional job here tonight. He's put in the perfect laps, perfect corners there. You got, I think that's Matt Grenier behind him, that lapped car. But yeah, he's put in some just absolute great laps in here, perfect turns. I don't even know if he has even a little bit of paint on himself from himself on the walls. I think he's done a great job keeping it off the walls, keeping it clean, and that's exactly what you need to do to be able to have a clean street course race. This is where 5 to go.
Yeah, he has not made a misstep here tonight. One of the few cars that probably haven't gotten into really any trouble either. And when you combine clean and quick, you get a 6-second lead here at Chicago in dominating fashion. So Alex Penn leads 24 laps so far, trying to lead his 25th, and may be able to take this all the way home here in that number 30 machine. In a couple of laps, there's still a lot of corners, and we've seen situations jump out and bite our drivers multiple times already tonight, so definitely not a done deal yet for Alex Penn. He still has to focus up for another 5 more laps around this 2.14 mile street course, but right now things looking steady for the 30. Time for one more quick rundown through the starting lineup. Alex Penn, your leader, currently in first in the number 30 car, almost at 30th. Michael Kostick in second, Blake Hensley third, Justin Ray in fourth here. Cody Anderson fifth, Blake Cunningham sixth, Wes Wiegand seventh, the last car on the lead lap. Then you've got a 3-way battle for 8th as far as cars 4 laps down between Craig Schroeder, Tom Hall, and Bobby Hall. Schroeder off track, but the 2 Halls both on track at the moment, so could be some shuffling there in the closing laps of this one. Matt Grenier, Mark Morton, Lucas Lyons, and Drew Prohl rounding out your field here tonight. We're on board here with the 30 of Alex Penn. You can just watch how smoothly he goes around this course. Makes his way through 6 into 7, and just watch this car make its way through this fountain section. He makes it seem so seamless.
He's very smooth, isn't he? It's actually mesmerizing watching him, how smooth his efforts are, his inputs are, but he's just still so fast with it. I mean, I know that the saying "smooth is fast, fast is smooth," but I feel like Alex Penn takes it to another level.
That he does, and he'll come to the line here to make it 3 laps to go. Although the final order of this race definitely not decided yet. Looking at the battle for 4th, here comes Cody Anderson toward the back bumper of Justin Ray. That 42, not content with a potential best finish of the season in 5th. He's looking to cap off another spot here if he can get around the 38 of Justin Ray. Justin Ray also trying to get his best career finish so far in the OiL Xfinity Series. He finished 5th at Indy back in the 6th race of the season, and that was his only top 5 of the year to this point. So he's trying to make fourth his new best. Anderson trying to make fifth his new best, and they might still have time to trade it here as the 42 within 3 car lengths of the 38 as they make their way down to turn 3. Making their way through 4 and 5. Will Anderson get the run he needs down this backstretch into turn 6 is the question. Little bit of contact for the 42. That's going to slow him up because this straightaway is so long you could use it as a drafting opportunity, but when you bounce off the wall, it's going to really hinder your ability to do so. And he has to tuck in for now. Still about 3-4 car lengths behind Ray.
Yeah, Cody's been on the hunt this entire race. I feel like every time we talk to him, he's just on the back of someone trying to hunt them down, trying to, just pass them. I was about to say take them out, but I think that was a wrong phrasing. I don't think he's actually gotten into any really big trouble here. He's just constantly behind someone trying to pass them. I don't know what that says about him.
Yeah, it's he's had really good pace and clean air. He just has to find a way once he gets to the back bumper to execute it. Just a little while ago, I was talking with one of the Vspeed producers, Morgan Cook. We were talking about, what is the official way to pass at some of these tracks. And when we were at Kentucky, we came up with the 3 Ps. You got to poke, you got to prod, and then you got to pass. And I think Anderson right now is in the first 2 of that stage. And, there's always the forbidden 4th option of punt. But for right now, it's about to stick to the top 3 as we're on 2 laps to go here from the Chicago street course.
I'm not advocating for that 4th one there, but if it's a last lap kind of move, I might give you, I wouldn't call it a punt, but definitely a strong poke into the back, and just to make it go a little bit further so I can make that corner, and you might make a little miss, but I'm not advocating for it, but that might happen here and there.
Maybe a nice push to the back of a friend, or
just a nudge,
slightly harder push to the back of a foe. But either way, Anderson still in that striking distance of Justin Ray, but the 38 been really smooth these past couple laps. Hasn't set a step wrong so far and has been able to hold on to this 4th place position. It's around the 2 laps to go. Now the white flag is out as Anderson hammered that wall coming out of 9. Heavy contact there for the 42. That's going to cost him a bit of time. But we're going to see if he can reel him in here on this final lap. Alex Penn in control, 6.5 seconds ahead as the white flag's in the air. Ray gonna swing it. He's gonna lose it through turn 2. The 38 had been running so smoothly and then loops it going through turn 2. Justin Ray gonna fall down the 5th. He's gonna have to get that car up to speed to not lose out to Daniel Cunningham behind him. But the 38 might have to settle for 5th here today. It'll be his 2nd top 5 of the season, but it will only match his season high. Cody Anderson jumps in the 4th. It'll definitely be a best finish of the season for him. But let's see, as we look at the 30 of Alex Penn coming through turn 11, going up toward turn 12 for the final time here today. He has been the road course king of the OiL Xfinity Series, and now you can add street courses to that resume of his kinglyhood as well. Alex Penn wins here at the Chicago Street Course, his 3rd win of the season, going left and right.
Was anyone surprised? I mean, Alex Penn has been a absolute dominated driver, whatever you want to call him, of these road courses. And once I saw that one second qualifying gap in the front between him and Michael Kostick, I knew it was over. Alex Penn had won immediately from the start of that race from quali. That was an exceptional drive from Alex, all the way from the beginning, all the way to the end.
So Alex Penn actually will get credited with leading 29 laps here tonight. I'm curious on who they credited with the 30th. But he will basically go pillar to post, dominating this whole race. and picks up the victory in, just dominating fashion. And assuming nothing drastic happened in like the last 15 seconds of that race, Michael Kostick will have brought it home for P2 and Blake Hensley for P3. There's Mr. Hensley. Penn going on a nice Tuesday evening drive one more time around this 12-turn road course so we can get back to that start-finish line and burn it down. And here he comes to celebrate Alex Penn, his third victory of the season. And his third one going left and right. He almost was able to pick up his first oval win a few weeks ago at Bristol and then Nashville. Finished second in both of those races. His only wins, though, have so far come on the road courses and the street courses. But right now, that number 30 machine definitely won the watch as these playoffs continue.
Yeah, I think he's just extended his lead just by a little bit more, and all he has to do, I think, is keep his nose clean on these ovals for the next few weeks, and then that Roval again, he might be able to take that win. But yeah, he needs to keep his nose clean, just finish in the decent amount of points, and I think he can run away with the championship.
Well, at least to getting at the championship race. Once we get to Phoenix, it's anybody's bet when it comes to one race, winner takes all sort of competition, but to get himself in contention, I think he's got a good chance. And what do you say? How about we talk to our race winner?
Yeah, pull him in.
Our winner here tonight from Pillar of the Post, leading just about every lap. It is the 30 of Alex Penn. Alex, congratulations on the win. Lefts and rights, man, they're your wheelhouse.
Yeah. We got one more this season, and it'll be in the round of 8, so hopefully we can take advantage of that. And, well, first of all, we need to turn our focus to the round of 12, make sure we get through that, because I do not like any of the tracks that are there. So we'll hopefully make our way through that, and hoping to make our way into the Final Four.
Well, you're well on your way at the rate you're going here. A dominating victory tonight to ensure that you make it into the round of 12. Not that it was really a major concern for you coming tonight points-wise, but you get to put your stamp of approval on it. Moving on. Talk to us about your race. I mean, you really didn't seem like you had much pressure to contend with all night.
No, the biggest focus was just keeping the car clean, especially once I saw everything that happened in the mirror on that stage restart. I knew just kind of back it down and just kind of cruise our way to the end and don't put the car at risk.
Yeah, well, speaking of risk, I mean, this track was full of them. A lot of cars had some issues tonight at one point or another. Just not an easy car to have at this kind of track. Is this a setup that you enjoyed or just one that you were more comfortable with maybe than the rest of the field?
I'm guessing just more comfortable than the rest of the field. It is such a bumpy setup. It just never felt like the car wanted to settle down, especially going into some certain corners. It was just rough.
Yeah, what was the corner you'd say was giving you the most issues tonight? I know what my pick will be, not for you, but for the field. But I'm curious to see which ones you marked as the ones that were cause for concern.
Probably the double right-hander, that first McDonald's corner. It was the bumps were just super bad today. As we made our way into that corner, I had to back up my braking zone pretty far just to make sure the car would stay settled.
The double right. Oh, so like that 3, 4, and 5 area
Yep.
going down to the backstretch.
Yeah,
Okay,
that section there.
interesting. I would not have considered that because I seemed like a lot of people were just having trouble in 6, either locking up or getting into the wall, then clipping the tire barriers, and
Yeah,
we saw a lot of
6's
issues there. But
6's issue is really just you have no reference for braking. All the the numbers are on the wall are about 200 meters too late.
oh, incredible. Well, that's definitely something we should pass along then to the folks over at Grant Park to be like, hey, just food for thought for next time you have this event.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight, Alex. Massive victory, locks you into the round of 12. Anyone you'd like to thank or shout out while you're up in the booth?
Yeah, for sure. The guys over at Cornerstone, we all put on a hell of a show tonight. Almost got everybody into the top 5, which was pretty awesome. Um, Aerial Professionals of Western North Carolina, Function Junction Smoke Shop, GG's of Waynesville, North Carolina, Mountain View Detailing, Winsville Tire, and Skip Barber Racing School, who were on the car tonight.
Well, congratulations again. Dominant night for you, dominant night for Cornerstone Motorsports, and we will see you in the round of 12 there, Alex.
Thank you.
And that was our race winner here tonight, Alex Penn, the number 30 machine, just dominant from start to finish this evening. Next up, it is our second place finisher. The number 8 machine of Michael Kostick brings it home in P2 tonight. Credited with leading a lap. I have to ask you, like the lap led, was that during the pit cycle somewhere?
I'm not. I think it might have been on that restart. I don't know if I beat him to the line or not.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
honestly
Okay.
have no idea.
Well, either way, you bring it home P2 after starting P2. It'll be a good points day for you, and you comfortably move on to the round of 12 here in the OiL Xfinity playoffs. Talk to us a little bit about your night and trying to tame this pretty wild Chicago street course.
Yeah, I mean it was. Second stage was definitely eventful there. That first lap, I hit them bumps going down in that left hander, and I just couldn't get the car to slow down. Then I got all frustrated and told Blake I didn't mean to get into him going down in that right hander. I just wheel hopped down the hill. But yeah, it was had a lot of fun racing him. He was making me definitely drive a lot harder than I wanted to for the longer run, but it's fun battling.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys were having quite the scrap out there. What were you thinking in those couple laps where you were about half a second behind the 31, and he's like all over the track, involuntarily or by choice? What were you thinking when you were trying to get back around the 31 there in the closing laps?
Really not to let him get too far away. Was kind of hoping he was burning his stuff up, but if I would have let him get too far away, it would have been too difficult to pass him late in the run. So he was kind of forcing me to drive 10 times harder than I wanted to. So I was burning my stuff up. And yeah, I mean, it was just fun sliding around and running hard there for a while. Usually these things get pretty spread out, and it's just kind of a solo practice session, but it was fun battling there.
Well, you're bringing home P2 tonight. You'll be moving on to the round of 12, where after a variety of tracks in the opening round, we get to 3 much more consistent tracks here in the round of 12 with Kansas, Darlington, and Texas. How are you feeling going into the round of 12, knowing that you'll have a bit of a points advantage as well as some success on these mile and a half this year that you've run pretty well?
I like Kansas. It gets fun being able to spread out. I really like Darlington, Texas. Yeah, I don't know. It's there. So, um, yeah,
Another mile and a half on the schedule.
It exists.
just try to run up front and not make any silly mistakes or get caught up in any messes, and just try to keep pushing forward.
Alrighty. Well, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out while we've got you up here in the booth?
Yeah, thank you guys and Vspeed for doing the broadcast. It's fun going back and watch it. Alex, Dave, and Cody for all the work they're putting on in the league, and my teammates at Bandits and C2.
Well, congratulations on the second place finish there, and we wish you the best of luck in the round of 12 coming up.
I appreciate it.
And that was Michael Kostick, our P2 finisher here tonight. Had a pretty good run going there, Christian. Just when you run into the buzzsaw that is Alex Penn, it's tough to try and make your way toward the lead.
It definitely is. Yeah, I mean they difficult drivers, difficult track for the drivers here tonight. But they were able to kind of put it underneath them and get it done.
That they did, and that will bring us tonight to our final podium finisher of the evening, the 31 of Blake Hensley, who had a up and down kind of day, brings it home on the podium, making up 9 spots in the process. Blake, congrats on the podium run. Walk us through the day. As far as the field is concerned, you probably had the most eventful day of anybody.
Yeah, it was up and down. I knew I needed some kind of. I was gonna try some kind of crazy strategy. I knew I needed something to work, something different to work, in order to try to get the win. I think I was in a must-win there for the playoffs. So, actually, I didn't. I ended up starting. I qualified last of all cars that qualified. I actually didn't mean to do that. I scraped a wall a little bit on my final Q lap, and so I started from the back, and then we had some shenanigans on the pace lap, as I'm sure y'all might have caught.
Well, actually, I'm going to ask you about that because we know something happened. However, we weren't able to pull up the replay to see what happened. Talk us through what happened there? Did it have the 15 involved in some capacity? Because we saw him take the green flag, missing the front nose of the car.
I don't know. I really don't think anybody knows what happened. As far as we're told, though, I think Drew said all of his stuff shut off. So I don't know, just bad timing for technical problem. But
Oof,
yeah,
that's.
So that helped make up a few easy spots pretty quick. Cars with damage and stuff like that. And then I just tried to pace the stage and just take care of the tires because the rears were a premium here. And marched up to 4th and still had pretty decent speed and was trying to work on Bobby to get around him for 3rd in the stage and just tried a little bit too hard and got some wall, and I think Daniel got a piece of me too. So yeah, but like you said, up and down from spins to beating the wall down to getting drove in the wall to you name it. It pretty much happened tonight, but it's pretty cool to come out with a 3rd place finish at the end of it though.
Yeah, I mean, it was. You probably had about as much things happen tonight as anyone could have asked for here at the Chicago Street Course, especially with not the largest field that we've seen this year. I do want to ask you, though, we were on board with you a little bit in that second stage when you were running second, and we were just watching you watching the wheel movement for about a lap or so. What was it like trying to keep this car under control tonight from Chicago? I mean, it looked like you were having quite the battle to try and get this car to settle down in any capacity.
Yeah, I don't feel like I was driving it to its full potential, but I don't really know that I could have. It was just the setup was horrible. It didn't do anything good at all. It didn't have any rear grip at all. Didn't turn well. Didn't slow down well. I hated it. It was honestly probably the worst setup I've drove. I don't think I've ever ran an Xfinity car here at the street course, but that was a horrible setup. So thanks iRacing for that. But yeah, especially with all the damage too. It just made it really hard to get a good grip on it and figure it out. It seemed like I had a pretty good understanding of it until I put myself in the wall and before the stage and didn't want to take the time to fix it then. That would have probably just threw away any hopes of this finish. So just took the damage and then we got a little bit more and yeah, it was game over from that point. With all the damage, it was hard to do anything good in it. I know the rear tires were eat up at the end, so once Kossick got me for 3rd, I just kind of tried to settle in and just hold on to what I had, and I didn't really have anything to fight with. But yeah, I think I just saw it on the broadcast a minute ago too. That carousel there's a big hump going into it on that right hander going in there, and as you can tell, I grabbed a little bit too much of it with too much foot in the gas, and it was a wild ride, and it was, kudos to Kossick for not getting into me there. That was a brown britches moment.
Yeah, no kidding. That is not the widest bit of track, but the two of you got it sorted out, and despite the damage, you were able to drag that car to a P3 finish tonight. Last question I've got for you while you're up here with us is, looking ahead to the next couple weeks, we go from the past few weeks being Pocono Super Speedway racing at Dega, and then the road course tonight, and then we go to 3 straight mile and a half or mile and a half adjacent type tracks with Kansas, Darlington, and Texas. How do you feel going into the mile and a halves after having a few weeks of, dare I say, wild card type races?
I will just say I think that this first round of the playoffs was probably the most horrific first round of playoffs I've ever drove. It was rough. Pocono was just awful. Got took out early on that one and didn't have anything to fight with the rest of the night. And picked a really bad time last week to miss my only race of the season, which put me in the spot that I was in. So, and I love road course racing, so this was fun. But like I said, the car was not great in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to some ovals. Get back to doing some stuff that we all do well, to say the very least. But whether to make the playoffs or not, uh, it's fun racing here with these guys every week, and we're still going to give it the best we have, and hopefully get up here to be able to talk to you guys as much as we can.
Absolutely. Well, we enjoy having you up here, Blake. And while you're here, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go on your way?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. My beautiful wife. I think she is crawled up in the bed tonight. So maybe she's got her eyes on, maybe not. Shout out to Dave and Alex for all all the other admins for putting on this league. This is probably the most fun league racing I've had ever. Doesn't help that we're all friends too. It's really good atmosphere here. I love that more than anything. And the competition is second to none. Thanks to you guys for awesome broadcasts. As always, I like to get there to share that as much as possible, get as many eyes on it as we can, because y'all do a exceptional job putting these races on for everybody to see. Shout out to my sponsor and my employer, Smyrna Ready Mix Concrete and Holland's Head Mixer Company. You see that number on the side of the car there? You call that number or look up one on the internet to find your closest Smyrna Ready Mix Concrete plant for quality concrete and unmatched service. And when you call, we haul, baby. You never know. You might just get a, dare I say, charmingly good-looking, exceptionally talented sim racing concrete mixer truck driver like myself to deliver it to you. But yeah, no, I believe that's all I got for just really thankful for a good run tonight.
Well, I tell you what, I would love to see you come back to the Chicago street course in one of those concrete mixers and try and drift it the way you were drifting your Xfinity car here tonight. I think that would be worth a sight to behold.
I believe I'd probably be able to drive that one around here better than this one.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish there, Blake, and we hope to see you again in the booth real soon here with the closing races that we've got.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I appreciate it a lot. Y'all have a good night.
You as well. And that was Blake Hensley, our third place finisher here tonight, the driver of the 31 machine. Brought it home in P3. He had a wild up and down night there, Christian.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, he was painting the walls. He was, ripping the rubber apart, really trying to keep away from Michael Kosik. As you heard, Michael said he even had to push to keep up with him there. So he was doing a great job. But he still came in P3 all the way up from P12. So definitely, probably our biggest mover tonight. Let me take a look to see if that is true. He is. He has 9 positions over Cody Anderson of the 7. So yeah, did an exceptional job here tonight.
And I don't think it would be too much of a stretch to nominate the 31 car as our driver of the day here tonight, at least in my opinion. I mean, drove through the field and put on some of the best battling throughout that top 10, top 5 area. So I don't know if you agree with me, Christian, or not, but that is my pick of who I think the driver of the day was tonight.
No, I completely agree. I think that's what I was nudging a little bit towards there with those comments. But yeah, I definitely think Blake deserves that driver of the day. He put on a fantastic show, fantastic drive, and I do think he deserves driver of the day.
So not to not mention, our top 2 finishers who ran a incredible race here tonight, especially Alex Penn, just pillar to post dominance here tonight. But as far as the spectacle's concerned, the 31 definitely put on quite the show for us tonight. But I think it's time for us to take a quick look at the overall finishing results here tonight from Chicago. winning this race by over 8 seconds. It is the 30 of Alex Penn. This man just cannot be stopped on these road courses. Michael Kostick finishes second tonight. Blake Hensley third. Those were the three guys we heard from in the broadcast booth just a moment ago. Justin Ray finishes fourth tonight. He gets just ahead of the 08 of Daniel Cunningham. About a tenth of a second, the gap between those two. We saw the 38 loop it on the second corner of the final. Daniel Cunningham. Cody Anderson finished sixth. He must have fell down in those last couple. He was in fourth. Something must have happened to the 42. So he plummets down to sixth. He'll get his third sixth place finish of the season, but not a top 5, which he's still looking for. Wes Wiegand, the last car on the lead lap, brings it home 7th tonight in that number 88 machine, over a minute behind the leaders. And then we start getting into those who did not finish on the lead lap there, Christian. Craig Schroeder, Bobby Hall Jr., both 4 laps down, and Tom Hall 5 laps down.
Yeah, and then P11 to P12, you know, they're all 20. Or actually, Matt Grenier came back onto the track after a little bit. He did start the race without a front bumper, but was able to get that repaired and kind of finish out his race there with 9 laps down. Then we have Mark Martin, starting in 8th, but he's 24 laps down, along with Drew Prohl and Lucas Lyons, 25 laps down. Unfortunate for those guys, but Lucas Lyons finishing P4.
And that is going to do it here tonight from Chicago. That is going to do it from the first round of the OiL Xfinity Series playoffs. 16 drivers going to get weeded down to 12. While not official yet, I do believe, tentatively speaking, the drivers that have been eliminated tonight from moving on to the second round of the playoffs, Blake Hensley, who needed the win here tonight, did not get it. Had a good run, but it wasn't enough to save his playoff hopes. He'll be out. Both the 32 and the 114. Brett Bieber and Travis Bieber supposedly on the outside here after the 30 playoff races. They will not be moving on to the round of 12, nor will be the 4 of Jim Ott, which I'd say is quite the surprise, given that he has a win this season and 6 top 5s. He's been pretty good, to say the least. So, you know, that is the 4 drivers who we believe tentatively will not be advancing to the round of 12. That much remains to be seen, though. We will get official confirmation from the OiL Xfinity Series when that is the case. But looking ahead to next week, they will be going to the fast 1.5-mile track of Kansas Speedway. The first race of the round of 12 comes at that 1.5-miler. Then you've got Darlington and Texas, the next 2 rounds. Kansas will be 9 p.m. next week, April 30th. That will be the first race of the OiL Xfinity round of 12. You want more OiL action? They've got the Truck Series on Mondays. They've got the Cup Series on Wednesdays. All of those 9 p.m. here live on Vspeed. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to Vspeed. We've got sim racing content almost every day of the week. This is the place to be. Whenever you want to tune in for your sim racing needs, you don't want to miss any of the action. But for everybody here at Vspeed and for co-commentator Christian Hill tonight, I've been Alex Gagnon saying thank you so much for joining us at this road course presentation of the Chicago Street Course. Thank you so much, and we will catch you next time here for more OiL Xfinity action on Vspeed.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Oh, big wiggle. Here comes Lionel using the bottom sack car, closing in behind.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Marty's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Wild gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
Here comes Zwack.
Oh,